In this video, we will talk about delusions in Alzheimer's disease, and I will show you some strategies that can be helpful in managing this symptom in our loved ones. What is Alzheimer's disease? Well, Alzheimer's disease is a neurodegenerative condition characterized by a progressive decline in cognitive and behavioral functions. And this clearly leads to the emergence of various symptoms related, for example, to memory, behavior, and language. In orientation, both in space and time. Among these, we also have psychotic symptoms, including delusions. Alzheimer's disease is an age-related condition, but it doesn't only affect older people. Unfortunately, there is currently no cure, but it has been observed that early diagnosis and timely healthcare support and a good support network around our loved one can somewhat improve the quality of life, not only for the patient, but also for those who care for them. And a good relational network around our loved one, may they somehow improve the lifestyle, not only of the sick person, but also of those who care for them. As I was saying, we are talking about delusions in Alzheimer's disease, and sometimes it's natural to wonder why we should discuss this type of symptom in a condition like Alzheimer's. Unfortunately, psychotic symptoms, including delusions, often appear in Alzheimer's disease, as well as in other forms of dementia. What is a delusion? A delusion is an altered state of consciousness that leads to misinterpreting external stimuli. So often the person may show, for example, what is known as a persecution delusion, meaning they are convinced that someone has stolen their belongings, taken their money, or that someone has entered their home. It can show, for example, a jealousy delusion. So in this case, very often the partner, they are accused of betrayal. Imagine what the emotional state of that person might be at that specific moment, considering that for him or her, what they are telling us is absolutely real. What can we do? Where can we act to be of help? Clearly, we must always keep in mind that in front of us is a person who is suffering at that moment. So what we need to do is try to reassure him. To reassure him means to make him feel welcomed. It means not to belittle the story he is sharing with us. If he tells us that someone has stolen something, that his jewelry has been stolen, it makes no sense to respond to him, but that's not true. You're telling a lie. For him, it's reality. What we can try to do is to say to him, look, in fact, those are things that shouldn't be done. They're bad things, but don't worry. Now let's try to understand together what happened. I'll help you solve it. If he is convinced that he is, for example, being followed by certain people, we can try to stay close to him. We can try to help him understand that he is not alone. And so this will probably make him feel safer, it will make him feel calmer. And so it will tend, of course, alongside other forms of intervention and therapy, to reduce the delusional element. If at certain moments the person tells us, for example, that their wife has cheated on them, that their husband has cheated on them, even in this case, it makes no sense to emphasize the untruth of the fact. What we should try to do is maybe try to distract him, because maybe this will lead him to shift his attention to another element and make him forget that thought. Or anyway, in all cases, we need to be there for him. Clearly, by making the family member understand, by making the other person understand that we know that at that moment the story being told to us is not a truthful account. Here on this, we need to be careful though. Clearly, the form that the delusion takes is not a real form, but what the person is bringing to us is something real. It's a suffering, it's a sadness, it's a fear, and this needs to be heard. What is it that we need to do? So, we need to try to calm him down. We need to try to be calm ourselves in that moment, because this way we can create that space for listening that is absolutely necessary to help him and to help ourselves.